Hello everyone, welcome to another video from On the Airplanes. I'm Paul. Normally I do my Lisbon airport update videos, but this is a different one. I want to make a video on how to properly place GSE on your 1/400 and 1/200 scale. It really pertains to any scale, actually. This is all the GSE I'm going to be using today, just a wide variety. To show you how to properly place them on aircraft like 777. I'm going to use a 757, A320, 737, and a Dash 8 Q400 for this video. Just to give you a general idea of how to do, how to place the airport vehicles on your models. I have a lot of experience with aircraft servicing. I had 10 years at an international airport. So I've used all this equipment and absolutely know where to place everything. So let's get started with the Emirates 777. I'm going to pretend we're at an airport terminal, and I'm going to put a gate. Now, you'll see the 777s have 5 doors on each side. Well, the 300s anyway have 5 doors on each side. Typically, if you have one gate at a terminal, you usually put it on the what they call the L2 door, left-hand second door. That's because they want passengers, they want to separate first class from the rest. So first class get to walk in their own aisle. But obviously Emirates, it's a world-class airline. They would tend to go to an airport or a gate that has 2 jet bridges. So they would put one on the L1 door and one on the L2 door. To have priority boarding. So anyway, that's for your jet bridge placement. Easy peasy there. Next, we're going to do container loaders. This is a container loader. So they go into the front and back bellies. So here you go, for you can see. There's one in the front. Grab this one, put it here in the back. There you go. So, you got container loaders for your wide-body aircraft. One in the front, one in the back. And that's every wide-body aircraft. Now, I have worked on a 767 that was freehold. It was a once-in-a-lifetime thing where you actually put a belt loader to the aft cargo hold and you would freehold the bags. And I've only got to work on that once in my life. But typically, a wide-body airplane uses container loaders. Then at the very back here, you will see a small little door right about there. I'm pointing to it. And that's for, we call it freehold. Some people call it cargo 5. Anyway, there's various names for it. But it's you use a belt loader for that. And that's for basically last-minute passenger bags, crew bags, mail parcels, and strollers. So passengers board through the gate. They leave their strollers right here at the gate. And then a gate agent take them down the stairs. Now, this jet bridge doesn't come with stairs. The Gemini Jets ones do, and that is very accurate. So they walk it down the stairs, and they walk it to the belt loader and put it up there. That's how passengers' strollers get loaded. So that's why you have a cargo 5 for last minute loading. Makes it a lot more efficient. Next, I'm going to put a fuel truck. Fuel trucks can go left or right wing. Now on a wide body where the aircraft is significantly high from the ground, a fuel truck can fit below, and they always go below the wing. Usually midway through the wing, that's where you would find the fuel panel. There's a fuel panel on both the left and right wings. On this case, I'm putting it on the right wing because we're going to have congestion with ground equipment here. I'm going to have some containers loading, obviously. So I'm going to set up a couple container dollies here. There, like so. And then we place a tractor. So there you go. That's a good look right there. Containers being loaded on an airplane, and that is proper. That's what you would see at an airport. So Next, let's go catering. Now, catering it all depends on the aircraft configuration. Some aircraft have their galleys all in the front. Some have front and back. Some have mid and back, mid and front. So it really depends on the aircraft. But generally, you have it in the back left door, the very back left door. And generally, you'll have them in the front or the front two right doors. So in this case, for the Emirates, I'm going to put one in the back as so. And I'm also going to put, I got to get this extended here. Okay. I'm going to put one right here on the R2 door. There. Now this is pretty accurate because when you work on the ramp, you do fight for space, especially on a quick turnaround. We want to get our containers off and loaded and then load the ongoing, but catering also wants to do their job. So a lot of times our equipment becomes very close together, and you'd have to figure out a way to get your containers, your string in position without hitting the catering truck or the aircraft. And it can get pretty dicey at times, but that's proper. This is how you would service a 777 most of the time. So that's your GSE placement for your wide body. So this would work for your 747, your 777, your A330, 340, 350s, your 787s, basically all your big aircraft. You can run this type of GSE placement, and it would be 100% accurate. Also, I'm going to include a push tractor. Now, you can have tow barless, which I have here. That's a tow barless tractor. Or you can use with a tow bar. Now, Aviation 400, I'm using this one, which has the tow bar already attached to it. And then I can just place that already there. Basically, hooked up, ready to go for when they're completed boarding. So that's a 777. I'm going to move on to the next aircraft. Okay, moving on. Got the beautiful Iceland Air 757 Heckler Aurora paint job, one of my favorite models. And so this is now a narrow body aircraft. So most narrow body aircraft do not require containers or container loaders, but the Airbus narrow bodies are the difference here. They are the exception, and I will get to that. And I'm also going to show you 737. I guess 737, 757 pretty much have the exact same loading procedure. They both use belt loaders primarily. So I'm going to get my belt loader, and I'll put it in the front like so, or wherever the door is on this thing. So let's just call it right there. So that's your front belt loader. Then you got your aft. So you go. First two belt loaders on board. We're going to do fueling again. Again, I'm going to choose the left-hand side. And the 757 is just tall enough where the fuel truck can sneak right below it. Again, midway through the wing. That's where you want your fuel truck to be. Going to put catering. One in the back, very back. We're going to have galley there. And again, like I said before, catering is all up to the airline configuration, like the aircraft configuration for that airline. I usually put one in the back on the left-hand side, one in the front on the right-hand side. For this aircraft, instead of a jet bridge, I'm going to use stair trucks. So we're going to use two. One on the L1 door, as they call it, and one on the L2 door. There you go. So we got two stair trucks. Focus. There you go. There you go. One and two stair trucks. We're being loaded with two buses right there. That's your layout for passengers to walk out and board the aircraft. You got your bell loaders, and obviously we'd be loading baggage. So I'm going to put a baggage cart right here. And you can see we have to share that space with the catering truck. So there you go. There's baggage being loaded to the front belly. We'll put baggage to the back belly as well. Just got to get a tractor. Now, I love Dragon Wings GSE. It's absolutely the best out there. Although Fantasy Wings is supposed to be coming out with a set. So I'm excited to see what they come out with. But here you go. That's your 757 on most generic narrow body setup. 2 bell loaders, you know, just baggage carts and tractors. There's no dollies, there's no containers, no pallets or anything like that. And then, you know, because we have 2 stair trucks, we'll use 2 stair trucks for passenger convenience. And yeah, that's how you load the A757. Yeah, I'm just going to put a push tractor there. Perfect. Now I'm going to show you the A320, and I'll show you why that is different from all the other narrow body aircraft. Okay, now I got this British Airways Airbus A320neo for the next example. Before, the 757 had 2 bell loaders, and the reason why this one's going to be different is because there are containers for your Airbus aircraft. Your narrow body aircraft with Airbus do take containers in the front and the back. But the containers are different. They're not your standard LD3 containers. That's what they call the wide body containers with bags. They're called LD3 containers. Now, they use a different type of container. It's been a while since I've been working there. Please correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. I think it's an LD2. I'm not really sure. I never actually used a container loader for loading an A320 because all the A320s I ever worked on were 100% freehold. Now, those are the older A320s. I think the newer stuff, a lot more people or a lot of airlines are going towards containers because it's a lot more efficient. So in this case, we're going to, being that it's a new aircraft, the A320neo, we're going to say that it's containerized. So I got container loaders front and back. That is accurate. And then they do still have a little hold, a cargo 5 or a free hold for the remaining stuff like gate check-ins, strollers, etc. So that is actually the very same setup as a wide-body aircraft. And that's what sets the Airbus A320 321s aside from Boeing 757 and 737 narrow-body aircraft, is that these are container-loaded. A319 is predominantly freehold, but I have seen A319s with containers. So I would leave that up to your choice. If you wanted to put a container loader or a belt loader on there, it's up to you. And that's really the only difference that I will tell you between Boeing narrow bodies and Airbus narrow bodies. So again, I'm going to put my now this aircraft it's a Neo, so I think a fuel truck would be able to fit below it. But most of the time, it's a really small narrow body. The fuel truck tends to park to the side or close like that. Never under the wing. It's close to the wing. And then the fuel hoses, they drag out and they connect to... they usually have like a stairs, a little ladder on the truck that they use to reach the fuel panel. And again, you can go left or right. Let's do right side this time. There's a lot of ground handling companies or fueling companies that have set procedures for fueling their aircraft. So a narrow body would always have to be parked at the side of the wing, and they drag all the hoses underneath the wing for safety reasons. In other companies, it's not a big deal. So in this case, I'm just going to have it parked on the side, and they can still fuel the aircraft. So there you go. Fueling right there. Then we're going to have stairs. With Airbus aircraft, one in the back, one in the front. This plane is tail heavy. Keeps tipping on me, which is actually a real concern if you're doing this job in real life. Okay, so that's your Airbus setup right there. One stair truck in the front, one stair truck in the back. You would have your bus go here, a bus go there, quicker loading. And that's your setup for your any basically Airbus narrow body aircraft. And it's slightly different from the Boeings, but that's how they look. Now I'm going to move on to the 737, which not much difference, but just a slight difference. Well, actually, wait, before I move on, catering truck. Can't forget catering. Catering again, one in the front. If you're putting one in the back, we have a stair truck in there, so it tends to, what happens in that case is catering is done before they put a stair truck there. Or the very rare case where we see catering go to the very back. That could be acceptable right there. Although I never see this configuration. When it comes to small airplanes like this, all the catering tends to be done with one truck, and it will go into the front. And that's normally how it works. So this would be your setup for your Airbus aircraft if they're containerized. If they're not containerized, you just remove the two container loaders and you replace them with belt load. No big deal there. Okay, now I'm going to show you the 737. Okay, here's my 737-900ER of Turkish Airlines. Really nice model, just picked that up. Okay, so how do we place GSE on this one? All right, so I'll start with stair trucks. Put one in the front. And I'll put one in the back. Okay, one in the front, one in the back. They're going to be loaded with buses. Okay, so there you go, buses. And Boeing 737s do not have containers. Never heard of containers unless they are freighters, and that'd be the only time. So belt loader in the front, and belt loader in the back, and that's it. Belt loader is there, obviously, because they are not containerized. We do not use LD3 dollies. We do not use containers. We use baggage carts and tractors, obviously. There we go. So there's baggage carts right there. We'll have them hooked up to a tractor as such. So there you go. That's baggage loading on a 737 aircraft. And then catering. I'll just lower this a bit. In the front. That's where I always see them. It's always in the front of the aircraft. Alright, so, and the fuel truck, again, because this plane's a lot lower to the ground, fuel truck is going to stay off to the side, on the left hand like that, or the right hand like that. Generally, as a rule, they don't like to park fuel like this, right next to the engine, because it could drive into the engine. So that's for safety reasons. So you always want your vehicle kind of parked like this as the safest way for a fuel truck. But I have seen plenty of fuel trucks parked like this, which could run into the aircraft. But again, it depends on the company servicing the airplane. Generally, for safety, that's the best way for a 737. Right at the wing tip, and then they roll all the hoses to the fuel panel, which is midway through. And that's your setup for a 737. Now I'm going to show you a small aircraft, the commuter aircraft, the Dash 8 Q400. Okay, so for the Dash 8, I'm going to use this WestJet Dash 8 Q400 as an example. These planes tend to be remarkably tail heavy, so depends on if you don't have a level table like I don't apparently, they'll tend to flip back. So just that's why you see that little block there, just to hold it up for now for this video. Okay, so Dash 8s or ATRs. Actually, I should get an ATR because there's a slight difference with the ATR. So the ATR aircraft, I'm going to put it right up front. I have this beautiful TAP Air Portugal ATR 72. And these are your two most common commuter aircraft that you'd see in your model airport, if you have them. Now notice right here, the two differences of the Dash 8. You have a cargo door here in the back. There's also one, I don't know if you could see it, there's also one in the front, the very front door here. That's a forward baggage door. In the ATR 72, now I've never worked on an ATR 72 or any ATR aircraft, but there's a big giant door right here, and that's where they load their freight and their bags and everything. And the passengers load in the back. It's a very different type of aircraft. If I turn it around, you don't see any real door. And you see like these small doors here. These are service doors. Service and emergency. That one in the front here, that is exclusively an emergency door, an emergency procedure for the ATR 72. So that tells us that all the servicing is predominantly done on the left-hand side of the aircraft. And the only GSE that you would really need is a belt loader. Q400, I know a lot of people you load them without any equipment, like they just walk up and throw bags in there, but a Q400 is a little bit high off the ground, enough for you to use a belt loader. So that's that set up. We're going to put baggage cart. You tend to have 1, 2, or even 3 baggage carts, depending on how full you are, but these are commuter aircraft. They don't tend to have a lot of bags unless it's like Christmas season and everyone's flying out. So that's your general setup right there for a Dash 8 Q400. You won't need a stair truck because this door here is the stairs. It folds down and people get up through that way. And they don't make any of that in GSE. So for your setup, this would be perfectly acceptable. If you have a power cart, a GSE cart, or sorry, a ground power unit, you would place it right here on the just on the right side nose of the aircraft. Fueling for a Dash 8 or an ATR is always done like this. Aircraft parks or fuel truck parks on the side. It cannot be fueled on the left-hand side, only the right-hand side, because the fuel panel is right under the right-hand nacelle here, or right under this exhaust. There's a fuel panel, and that's how they. And so moving on to the ATR 72, again, the only difference is I'm going to put a bell loader in the front instead of the back. I'm putting a belt loader in the front, and I'm going to have my baggage cart here as such with a tractor. Again, I apologize for the video, like the camera work here, because I'm doing this with one hand, using a cell phone video to do this. But anyway, that's your setup for baggage. And then again, ATR, you could use a small little stair set. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the ATR. I think they have their own folding down stairs, just like the Q400. So basically, ATR is an exact opposite of the Dash 8 Q400 as you see. So loading in the front as opposed to loading in the back. The fuel truck, again, same thing. You'd put it to the side and you'd fuel the aircraft. So there you go. That's all the aircraft and how you properly place GSE on your model aircraft at your model airports. And if you have any questions or comments, please list them below, and I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Anyway, thank you for watching, and take care.